Paediatric palliative care is specialist and skilled care that is provided to families who have been told that their child has a life-limiting illness. The palliative care team is made up of quite a number of different health professionals. We have doctors and nurses, physios, OTs, social workers, bereavement person, and volunteers, obviously, for the clinical side. And so what we do is we meet with the family for the first time. We work out what their needs are and how we are able to provide support to them, and we make up a plan, and it's individualised to the needs of each family.
The Family Support Volunteer Program offers support to families in their home by a volunteer attending every week for a visit.
When we first thought about starting this program, one of the big needs that families had was for respite. So we set up a program where we had a pool of nurses that were available day and night to go and do a shift in a family's home to try and give the families some time to sleep. The families didn't really want it, and a lot of that was to do with the fact that they didn't know who the nurses were. They were strangers. And so potential for the volunteer program was good because it was going to be one-on-one. It was going to be people that were available, that they knew going into their homes.
I match a volunteer with that family, so that one volunteer will stay with that family and visit on a weekly basis, and so over that time a relationship can develop. The volunteers can go to the home and just spend some time with the patient and read or play with the patient. Other times I have volunteers that will do sibling support. The other things they can do, sometimes volunteers will just do simple practical things around the house. They may also just be a listening ear.
Offering just an ear, just for the mum to talk to, and I think because I'm an outsider, she can say whatever she likes to me and she knows it's not going to go any further than myself.
My volunteer team are really diverse, and all of them are compassionate people. They're all very caring people who genuinely want to help others, and I think you need that to do this job.
The reason I started doing palliative care volunteer work was because there was a time in my life that I felt that I wanted to give back to the community.
I decided to do the volunteer role because my dad passed away 5 years ago. And I decided, after going through my own grieving process, that I wanted to turn it into a positive experience and give back and be of support to a family that were going through one of the most horrific times. So it was just my opportunity to turn it around and give back.
I did have some fears. The fears were, what do I say to these parents? I thought also there would be a lot of sad times, but it's turned out there has been sad times, but lots and lots of happy times and happy memories.
Volunteering really gives you that whole other outlook of work where you're working really closely with families and you get like a whole new perspective. You're brought into a world that's so hidden from the rest of society, and it really just brings you back to earth.
The biggest issues that would arise for a family is having one other person walk through their own personal home and their own personal space, and also having one other person being entrusted with their child. I was led by the family, so when I arrived at the home, I would sit next to my little boy and always ask permission to, hold his hand.
Working in palliative care is sometimes a very difficult area to work in, and a lot of people shy away from people with a child with a life-limiting illness simply because they don't know how to, what to say to them.
It was certainly a challenge walking to somebody's home the first time and trying to figure out how it is you're going to help, what you're going to do, and trying to be comfortable with that.
I thought I was going to cry constantly, and I don't. I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm helping this family. I'm happy that the mum knows that she has me for support. It's been a really lovely experience.
And so when you realise that you are helping them in that way, then it really does make you feel like that you're making a difference and that other people can make a difference in the same way you are. Yeah, I'd never go back.
Now transitioning into the bereavement period, it's been difficult. You know, we're now talking about different things and looking at different ways and dealing with that grief. So it's been a difficult process, but also it's been healing at the same time because we're going through it together and there's that support from me to the family.
It is a sad situation, and for them to manage that in a way that they are able to continue their visits, but they're not so emotionally embroiled that it becomes an issue for them.
I have had some tough times, and I find the best thing for me is to talk about it with my family. We have our volunteer meetings once a month, which is fantastic, and Sarah's always a great support, and we can ring her anytime, which I have done in the past 18 months. And exercise, just walking, thinking, walking.
I think the program has been incredibly successful. Since 2009, it's grown and grown. I think Sarah has an amazing ability to match a volunteer to a family, and I just can't believe when I speak to families, they say, if you ask them what's the best thing about this care that they get, it's almost always the volunteer.
Somehow the simplicity of this gesture of the volunteers of simply saying to one human being, how can I help?
The proudest moment I have of being with my little boy is coming into the ICU at the hospital, and with the sound of my voice he turned his head to look at me and had a smile. So that was the most amazing feeling, and kind of wrapped up everything that I had experienced with the family and with my little boy.